We got ourselves a 4-beard over for the team 1 with Holy Saya. It looks like might be first one out. Maybe Masterfoot, maybe Jayhawk. We got ourselves Nyquil. We got ourselves Grifka over for the team 2 together with Long of Lol. What the? That actually looks kind of cool. It's really simple. Just tuxedo pants, big old sword, spear, spike. What do you call it? Pike, and glasses. We got ourselves Nas Dami as well as Silver with 5 gigahertz is the name. Dotting up Holy Saya off the bat. Holy Saya talking to us, you might think. Gonna go with a big rapture. Oh man, it's just melting. What is this? For just a second, 5 gigahertz was able to get some dots on a Holy Saya, and the guy is absolutely just getting shrugged by the Affliction Warlock's damage. The dots are quite brutal. Trying to see if he can get himself blasted out. Gonna be a stun full wall out for 5 gigahertz as he got himself a full hunt. Trying to go, I think, for a full damage over time gameplay here. He's trying to maximize the dot damage. Oblivion does get interrupted. Holy Side with the shield of vengeance. Seeing if he can maybe ramp up his wings. Playing out into the Crusade wings, so he should be able to get more and more damage every time he spends the Holy Power per finisher. Gonna be a Mortal Call right after. The dots are just gonna end up just destroying you little by little. Definitely needs to build all the Holy Power and start going for Word of Glory and trying to see if he can get himself a hit here or two versus 5 gigahertz as a full dots are in, join cells around the corner. May not want to run away from the Warlock that much. You definitely don't want to get away from any drain souls, but the dots, you need something to help you live this. Unless you go for a bubble right now. May just have to go for a bubble for all we know, actually. Might be in a lot of trouble. Lots of dots, bubble comes out. There goes 5 gigahertz forcing it out. There goes regenerating for Holy Saya, which is perfect as Gigahertz got himself a pretty good position, looking to get all the dots back into Holy. No more immunity against magic damage, might be in a ton of trouble. It's going to be poured immediately. Oblivion onto Holy Sire from right around the corner. Can't stop it. Mortal Call right after. Does go for a trinket. Looking to interrupt Gigahertz. Was able to, I think, get a proper interrupt. Shield of Vengeance with the wall as Holy just trying to see if he can dampen as much harm as possible as Gigahertz looking for a bit of catch up of his own. Soul Rot, all dots are in. Could go for Dougler. Actually, Spell Warden does come out. I was going to wonder he's a Blessing of Protection or a Spell Warden. It looks like Holy Sire chose the Spell Warden. Even though the team 2 is mostly full of melee and physical damage classes, I guess I decided that Affliction Warlock may be his hardest challenge so far. Gigahertz needs him some more recovery, but looks like the rebuke at the end will knock down. Holy Side does end up taking him out fairly handily with Nas Dami. I kept calling this guy Nosdormu last time, but Nas Dami gonna be up next, stunned by Holy Sire, looking to play it more defensively than anything. Monk trying to see if he can boop him back in with the Ring of Peace, trying to see if he can back away. Big, I love those jabs, by the way. Those jab charges just don't let the enemy get away whatsoever. Holy Sire in a lot of trouble. Nas Dami got a lot of damage waiting for the guy, trying to catch up a little bit of healing. Holy Sire does not have any way to survive this anymore. Got some Crusade Wings, maybe some survivability, but no mana whatsoever. Oh my goodness, Nas Dami. Without mana, man's literally spent on all his mana. It's just rough. As Nas looking for a bit of recovery himself. Masterfoot charging out. Does he have the damage he needs? Stun onto Nas. The mana change for hybrids, by the way, is really interesting. Very interesting for Feral and Paladin, how you have a big pull of mana, but eventually it does go down. Nas does have his Spore Cloak proccing, even though he's putting a lot of pressure on the Masterfoot, he's able to get his Spore Cloak out very, very quickly. Nas with the Karma to follow, maybe can have himself a big turnaround, needs to stay on top of Masterfoot as best as possible. Masterfoot trying to see if he can get the hell out of here. Bear Form, it's going to be Friends of Regen, Bark Skim, everything available to give himself recovery. Nas Dami may be in a bit of trouble. Leg Super available, full cooldowns at the ready. Fist of Fury onto Masterfoot. Does he take him out? Wait a second. Hold on, I swapped to the wrong person by accident. Does he have the damage? Trinket to follow. Does he have survivability right now? Ooh, bites out of the Feral. Got himself the wall to cover himself and get himself in a decent spot. Blasting the hell out of the Monkus with Grifka gonna be up next. Sap onto Masterfoot, trying to see if he can get himself a proper go. Gouge in the opener into a killer shot. Nothing he can do unless you got Barskin. I think it's over. Secret technique. Oh, just ripping right through him. And the rogue goes for a reset. Jayhawk trying to see if we can find him out in the open. RK Mage Jayhawk so far has been able to get quite a bit of blasted damage this night against the Warlocks, but against a rogue it might be a little bit on the tougher end. Might be a little bit more difficult than usual. As Grifka trying to see if he can get himself a bit of a reset. Sap onto Jayhawk, trying to get himself a better angle. Did he pick up ice? I think Jayhawk did pick up ice. Breath onto Grifka in the opener. Poly right after. This is where Jayhawk could be in a bad spot. No more Trinket, might be in a bad spot. Blink does end up blinking away from it into Shadow Step, Cheap Shot. Grifka still has touch of the magic. It could be a lot of damage. Jayhawk doing a lot of damage to Grifka right now. The blind to follow, just trying to see if he can survive this a little bit. Sipping Cup as well as a Warlock Healthstone, using everything in order to get himself a bit of recovery. Jayhawk got himself some shields. I think all the time also did put him in a better spot. Gouge to follow. Does he have a kidney shot? If he hasn't got a kidney shot, it's going to be a blink immediately. Does have some missiles, trying to get interrupted. Oh, missed the kick, but still the damage huge for Grifka. Missed the kick, but the damage is massive. Nothing can stop that guy. Is it going to be Nyquil next? Or is it going to be Fortbeard? One of the two got to go because Grifka's on a roll right now. Somebody's going to have to get in there and get him out. Looks like Nyquil is going to be up next. At least he's got himself Spectral Sight so he can find Grifka. Dropping down the rune of fire, trying to pick up eyes ahead of time. Does he see Grifka? He doesn't see him out in the open. He got himself Immolation Aura, so if the rogue does open up, if you can somehow get him in a combat before a sap comes out, it'd be great. Trying to see if you can get around to Grifka. Using Vengeful Retreat. If you use Vengeful Retreat correctly, while you're midair after Vengeful Retreat, you do have some immunity to crowd control. And if you use it at the right time, you could dodge a sap, you could dodge a cheap shot, you could dodge a gouge, which could be helpful. Nyquil using a trinket really early on versus Grifka. I think immediately off of the first cheap shot. Now you no longer have yourself and you kind of do a way to break out a CC, and the next blind could be very, very deadly. Nyquil flying up into the air while Metamorphosis is still active, playing very, very bold, using his big buttons really early, while Grifka's trying to play it more passively, just trying to get all the cooldowns out of Nyquil. That's going to be almost a full shadow meld. I think maybe a Rupture was on ya. Cheap shot, secret technique, big damage. That's going to be Mad Shield. Grifka just blast him out with Eviscerates. Just absolutely nothing to stop that man. Shadow Steps around Forkbeard. Does Forkbeard have it in him to be able to fight through Grifka? He definitely needs to get himself a better angle versus the Rogue. Get himself a proper Stormbolt, full burst, but Grifka has every defensive cooldown available. So Forkbeard, the earlier he uses defensives, especially during some of the better cooldowns of Grifka, the more chances of survivability he's got. I think with the eyes even available, I think he's not even going for the eyes. I think he's just trying to get himself in a corner where Grifka can't really open up with the guy. Trying to put himself up against a wall where Grifka can't easily Shadow Step to him. He's going to walk up right next to Forkbeard, immediately goes for defenses as he sees the Shadow Blades out of Grifka, which may be the play actually. Does Arm to follow, does go for a fear, so at least he can keep the Rogue in place. Does he have a Stormbolt for this one? Leaping away, charging in. Does he have a Stormbolt to follow? Looks like no Stormbolt. Gouge does not have Berserker range for this one. And I think he just used Leap, right? So he doesn't have any more mobility. Get his shot to follow. Does have to go for Shadow Step, Shadow Strike, Secret Technique will sack off of this one. Big damage. Does have a Stormbolt Trinket immediately for Grifka. Just trying to see if he can PvE down Forkbeard. He's going to jump off. Shadow Step, trying to go for a juke. Charge around the corner though. I don't even know how that charge like found pathing there. Does he have another charge? Or is he just going to hang out on the side? I guess as long as he got second wind, like he's going to be able to recover, right? So as long as Grifka is able to harass him with a couple of shuriken tosses, he can at least deny that. Should have a full kidney, right? Cheap shot? No, never mind. Blades, I think it's over. Yeah, it's just done. Grifka taking these boys out. 4v1? 4v0? For nothing? Grifka scares me. Grifka's rough, man. Grifka's really, really good at Rogue, though. Pretty good at Rogue.